And this is getting crazy real quick. It's getting sticky real quick. The WNBA refs information has been leaked. There could be potential betting going on, a potential scandal. We don't know what's going on. We don't know who to trust.
Something does not feel right. Not just because Clark is getting hit, not just because she is taking contact, not just because she is constantly ending up on the floor, but because the whistle never seems to match what everyone is watching.
Clark and Alyssa Thomas getting a flagrant foul assessed to her. We showed that what happened here. I mean, if you look at the still frame, it looks horrible, but if you watch it in real time, it kind of looked like it happened accidentally. What are you thinking about this?
Well, you can understand how maybe the refs overlooked it and didn't see the foul as it happened. It thought just what you thought. But then when you slow it down, it's really hard to ignore. Look, Caitlin Clark is just an unprecedented, as her coach called her, a generational star. She's hitting threes. She's dishing the ball. She's scoring every single night. She is making this league far more successful than it ever has been. And I know because I was a play-by-play announcer for the WNBA on network TV for the first 3 seasons, along with Reggie Miller. And so it's seeing new heights, and it's thanks to her.
Well, there's no question she gets roughed up a lot.
She's got to get protected, John. She's got to get protected.
Yeah.
And now, this story has gone from bad calls to something much darker, because WNBA refs are suddenly at the center of a shocking betting scandal conversation. And Caitlin Clark fans are absolutely exploding.
But this information has been put out. We got to get into it, man. The WNBPA has also failed to protect and represent Caitlin Clark. That is the Women's National Basketball Players Association. The Players Association have not stood behind Caitlin Clark after the brutal attack by Alyssa Thomas. This is all crazy. Christine Brennan went in on it. But we got to get into these refs being identified, man. There's potential scandals happening.
For months, the debate around Clark has been simple. Is she being protected? Is she getting the same whistle as everyone else? Are defenders being allowed to play her differently because she is Caitlin Clark? But now, fans are asking an even bigger question. What if these missed calls are not just mistakes? What if this is not only about bad officiating? What if there is something happening behind the whistle? That is why this story is so dangerous for the WNBA. Because once fans stop trusting the refs, they stop trusting the product. And once fans stop trusting the product, every call becomes suspicious.
What's going on? We are seeing multi-million-dollar NBA players with 8-figure contracts getting arrested for betting and gambling and all of this stuff. You seen the Brendan Swordsby kid at Texas Tech got put out because he was betting on games. How do we know that these refs that are clearly sabotaging Caitlin Clark, how do we know they're not betting? We don't know anything. You can't put anything past any of these people, but these are the referees. They've been identified. Okay, take a look at these guys here. They're all in question, all of them, because you don't know what their motives are. We've seen games where Caitlin Clark shoots 0 free throws, but we've seen games where Breanna Stewart and Asia Wilson will shoot 20+ free throws in a game. How do we know they're not prop betting? How do we know? We don't know nothing. Hold on, man. Y'all think it's a game. Take a look at this here. How do we know? 9-year NBA veteran Malik Beasley has been indicted on federal charges for gambling related to a sports betting scheme, such as point shaving and prop bets. His attorney, Steve Haney, tells ESPN the government is coordinating a voluntary surrender of Beasley this week. How do we know these cheating WNBA refs ain't in on it? Look at some of the stuff he was doing. Look at some of the stuff he was doing to make sure he get the overs and unders.
And which ref ignored the contact? And which ref keeps showing up when these games get ugly? That is where the betting angle becomes so explosive, because sports does not live in an innocent world anymore. Betting.
Look, 4 games Malik Beasley allegedly shaved points. Bucks versus Cavs, Bucks versus Hornets, Bucks versus Clippers, Bucks versus Nets. The group of bettors took the over on Beasley's rebounds and cash for the Clippers game. The scheme eventually didn't work out after he couldn't hit the under on his rebounds in the Nets game. Here's Malik Beasley getting a 4th rebound with just 2 seconds left in the game against the Clippers. He had an over and under of 3.5 bet prop that day. So if somebody like Malik Beasley, who had an 8-figure these referees aren't getting paid 8 figures. They're not making 8 figures. If he was getting 8 figures and this is what he was doing, how do we know these shady, shiesty refs? How do we know they're not doing something wrong?
Driving into a wall at full speed with Caitlin Clark. They now have a commemorative poster of 30 years of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's not on it. And it's not just like an ode to the veterans that started the league. Paige Beckers and Angel Reese are on it. Caitlin Clark's not. You guys, when she broke into the league, you moved her road games to bigger arenas to accommodate the fans. You were flying the last 6 rows of Southwest Airlines until she made such an impact, you pivoted to private jets.
And suddenly the technical foul comes fast. That is what drives fans crazy, because they are not just watching physical basketball. They are watching what feels like a double standard.
Continues to work through what many perceive as consistency issues, especially when it comes to games being officiated, Lisa.
Well, officiating is tough. I don't know if anybody's ever even tried to officiate. It's not the easiest game. It's one of the most thankless jobs you can do. But in this particular situation, I thought that the last official should have been able to catch that. I was actually watching this game and I was like, oh, wow, that was a bit much. So in that moment, I thought that the official missed the call. I'm not surprised that the league went back and fined Alyssa Thomas. But I think at the same time, it's tough to think that official would have missed that they didn't have a replay on it. That was tough to me. And I think overall, the league's got to do better. The officials have got to do better, but also players. Players have to clean it up. We used to play in a way that you protected one another. Yeah, I want to play physical. I want to play hard, but I'm not out here trying to hurt you. If I was out there for a loose ball and it was Renee down there, yeah, I'm going for the ball. But if I accidentally punched Renee or hit her in some kind of way, maybe the play goes on, but I help her up. I help her up. You know what I mean? Just out of the like, dang, my bad. You know, so I think that part is important too, the reaction. Maybe if Alyssa Thomas would have even turned like, dang, my bad, I didn't mean to hit you like that. It's a different thing, but that's not what happened. And so I think that the league got it right. But I think overall, Coach Tibbetts is correct. Everything, consistency is important. It needs to be cleaned up for all players, regardless of what their accolades are. None of that part matters. It matters about protecting these players, no matter which team, which position, when they sub in, the start of the game to the end of the game. Every player deserves the same type of protection.
Other players can yell, other players can clap, other players can get in a referee's face. And sometimes nothing happens. But when Caitlin Clark differently, now they are wondering why. Is it bias? Is it pressure? Is it incompetence? Or is it something more serious?
Overall, officiating has been a universal issue this year. And that's not the goal of any league, but this is the reality. And when you think about the imperative to call more fouls, we're seeing the highest scoring season ever in WNBA history. That's largely because they're calling more fouls, right? Games are no longer 2 hours, they're 2.5 hours long. So you're seeing that there's an imperative to call more fouls, but there's still a lack of situational awareness or a lack of control of the game by the refs. You can call fouls, but is it dictating how one game is played from the other? Because you can see one game where one is super physical and one where people are dropping 50. There's been a lack of consistency, and this creates a problem in magnifier matchups. And this is a magnifier matchup when you look back at it. Alyssa Thomas, Caitlin Clark, both dominant players, but Alyssa plays on the edge. I know her. And Caitlin sometimes embellishes at times in certain instances. And so when you have a scrum, like you said, there needs to be a hyper-vigilance, but also this created a position where the league is now forced to be reactive. And instead of having a control of not just calling fouls, now the league is reacting and doing something that it rarely does on a non-call and instituting a suspension. And to me, that was unique.
And that is the problem for the WNBA, because at some point, the reason almost stops mattering. If fans cannot tell the difference between incompetence and corruption, the league already has a crisis. Look at the Alyssa Thomas situation. Clark takes dangerous contact. The game keeps moving. The league reviews it later. Then suddenly the play is serious enough to become a major punishment. And fans are left asking the obvious question, why did it?
We know they're not doing something wrong. The identities are right here. We're going to be watching. We're going to be paying attention because a lot of y'all refs have put this bullseye on your own back. Y'all refused to. Y'all gave Caitlin Clark a tech, but then I watch Kayla McBride clapping you guys' face, no technical foul. I watched Paige Beckers just recently clap at you guys, taunting opponent, no technical foul. None. The WNBA finally reviewed one play for Caitlin Clark, and all of a sudden a new smear campaign is on in protection of Alyssa Thomas. This is all craziness, man.
This even worse, because Clark is not just some random player. She is the player who helped bring massive attention to the league. She brought ratings. She brought ticket demand. She brought new fans. She brought sponsors, headlines, and national conversation. But when she keeps taking contact, fans feel like the people who should defend player safety are nowhere to be found. That silence makes the whole thing feel even uglier, because the WNBA wants Caitlin Clark's spotlight. It wants her audience. It wants her impact. But fans are asking if the league actually wants the responsibility that comes with protecting her. And that is why this story is exploding. It is not only about gambling. It is not only about refs. It is not only about Caitlin Clark. It is about whether the WNBA can be trusted at the exact moment more people are watching than ever before. Because this is the worst possible time for fans to start questioning the integrity of the game. The league finally has attention. It finally has momentum. It finally has a player who can pull casual fans into women's basketball. And instead of talking a league credibility problem, and if the WNBA does not fix it fast, the scandal might become bigger than the season itself.
W at this junction in time would be better without Caitlin Clark because she is a bigger distraction than she is an additive.
Our team saw it happen, because I promise you, if we would have seen that happen, we would have had her back. Unfortunately, this type of shit happens every single game to her, and the league and the refs do absolutely nothing about it.
And Sophie Cunningham finally had enough, because this was not just another hard foul. This was not just another physical WNBA moment that fans argued about online. This was the kind of play that made people stop and ask the same question again. Why does this keep happening to Caitlin Clark?
Right over what the WNBA called a flagrant foul. The Phoenix Mercury's Alyssa Thomas appears to put her fist on Caitlin Clark's throat as they scrambled for a loose ball during a game on Wednesday night. Thomas was suspended one game, but now some are coming to her defense, saying it was hard play, not a dirty play. Here's ABC's Perry Russum.
Days after the WNBA announced this apparent fist pressed against the neck of superstar Caitlin Clark warranted a suspension.
To the ground and
Tonight, her Indiana Fever teammate Sophie Cunningham speaking out on her podcast, saying the two-time All-Star is being targeted and more needs to be done to protect her.
They're definitely targeting her, and the league and the refs do nothing to protect her.
The growing discussion across the league and beyond stems from this moment Wednesday night. Phoenix Mercury forward Alyssa Thomas falling on Clark, scrambling for the ball.
During the Fever versus Mercury game, Clark ended up in another ugly collision. Alyssa Thomas made contact near Clark's throat area. Clark went down, and in real time, the officials did not treat it like the major moment it later became. But once the replay started spreading, the reaction changed fast. Fans saw the contact. They saw Clark hit the floor. They saw how dangerous it looked.
So when a player makes illegal contact, it's called a personal foul, which means this would be. So that would, that's a personal foul. No, there is no foul. It's because that's why. But when a player makes unnecessary illegal contact, then it's called a flagrant one foul, which means this would be. Let's see, that's unnecessary. Yep, that's a flagrant one foul. No. What would you think? The player made normal illegal contact, which means it's just a personal foul. See what I mean? The player was just trying to get into a defensive position and accidentally made contact with the other player. That's why. But when the illegal contact is unnecessary and excessive, then that would be a flagrant 2 foul, which means this would be. So that's unnecessary and excessive. That would be a flagrant 2 foul. No. Flagrant 1 foul? No.
And then the league came back after the game and upgraded the play. Alyssa Thomas was assessed a flagrant foul 2 and suspended for 1 game.
Have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar.
No foul was given during that game, but the WNBA reviewed the play and issued a flagrant foul against Thomas and suspended her for 1 game. for recklessly making contact with her fist to the throat area. Mercury coach Nate Tibbetts questioning the investigation process, saying he's disappointed with the suspension.
The goal is to clean up our game, but I do think it's important not to rely on social media screenshots. This is a slippery slope, and let's watch the whole play, the whole game.
Tibbetts standing up for Thomas, a WNBA veteran and 6-time All-Star, calling her a tough competitor.
And that is where the outrage exploded. Because if the play was serious enough for a flagrant foul too after review, why was it not handled properly during the game? That is the problem. It is not just the foul, it is the delay. It is the feeling that Caitlin Clark has to get hit first, go viral second, and only then does the league react.
What many perceive as consistency issues, especially when it comes to games being officiated, Lisa.
Well, officiating is tough. I don't know if anybody's ever even tried to officiate. It's not the easiest game. It's one of the most thankless jobs you can do. But in this particular situation, I thought that the last official should have been able to catch that. I was actually watching this game and I was like, oh, wow, that was a bit much. So in that moment, I thought that the official missed the call. I'm not surprised that the league went back and fined Alyssa Thomas. But I think at the same time, it's tough to think that official would have missed that they didn't have a replay on it. That was tough to me.
That is why Sophie Cunningham's comments hit so hard. Sophie was asked about the physical treatment Clark has been dealing with, and she did not give a safe answer. She did not protect the league. She did not pretend everything was fine. She said that in real time, she did not see the play happen. But then she made one thing very clear. If they had seen it, they would have had Clark's back.
Our team saw it happen, because I promise you, if we would have seen that happen, we would have had her back. Unfortunately, this type of shit happens every single game to her, and the league and the refs do absolutely nothing about it.
It's been a minute since you got fined on this podcast.
I have, but then you see the videos of literally kneeing and cheap shotting C in the throat. If she did that to any of our teammates, we'd be pissed. But they're definitely targeting her, and the league and the refs do nothing to protect her.
That one line told fans everything, because Sophie was not speaking like a media personality. She was speaking like a teammate. She was saying, we missed it live, but if we knew what happened, this would not have just been ignored. Then she went even further. She said this type of stuff happens every single game to Caitlin Clark. And she said the league and the refs do nothing about it. That is why this became bigger than Alyssa Thomas. That is why this became bigger than one game. Because Sophie did not just call out a foul, she called out a pattern. And that pattern is what Clark fans have been screaming about all season. They see Clark getting bumped. They see her getting grabbed. They see her getting knocked down. They see defenders being extra physical with her. And every time it happens, the same argument starts.
Hey, Caitlin Clark, if you're gonna have big reactions, you're gonna have big consequences. I got a technical foul for clapping. I guess if we're just gonna get a foul for clapping. Maybe you weren't doing it like this. Maybe you were in someone's fucking face. Maybe that's why. Maybe throwing your hands up and fucking screaming at everybody and getting in everybody's face every time you don't get what you want. Yeah, people get a little bit irritated with that. Coming from an athlete, those players piss me the fuck off. You gotta humble them a little bit, just a little. I'm so tired of this racism. It's racism. It's not. It's actually not. Because if it were Angel Reese on the ground, y'all would be saying, it's just the game. Welcome to the big league.
Some people say it is just basketball. Some people say Clark fans are too sensitive. Some people say she needs to toughen up. But Sophie Cunningham basically said, no, this is not normal. This is targeting. And the league is not doing enough. That is a massive statement, because fans can say that all day. Commentators can say it. YouTubers can say it. But when another WNBA player says it, it lands differently. Sophie is on the court. She is in the locker room. She sees the way teams defend Clark. She sees the way the contact builds. She sees the way Clark has to keep getting up while everyone else debates whether it was really that bad. And that is why her reaction felt so real. She did not sound like someone chasing attention. She sounded like someone frustrated that it had reached this point. Now, Alyssa Thomas has her side too. She pushed back on the way the situation was being talked about. She said the narrative had gone too far. She talked about players being painted badly. And that part matters too. Nobody should be threatened over basketball.
Alyssa, you said that the league still hasn't reached out to you in the aftermath of everything, of the incident and like vitriol and stuff like that on social media. How do you feel like they could better support you in this incident?
I think it's not even about the suspension. If that's what they felt was necessary in that moment, then so be it. But I think there's a lot of other plays that you can say the same about. I think the biggest thing is it's just about our safety. We're so concerned about the safety on the court, but time and time again we're having people threatening our lives, leaking addresses out there, putting crazy pictures that have nothing to do with basketball. So
Nobody should have their personal safety put at risk because of a play in a game. That is not accountability. That is just wrong. But here is where the story splits. Thomas is talking about the backlash. Sophie is talking about the contact. And fans are talking about the pattern. Those are three different conversations happening at once. And that is why this story has become so explosive. Because if you only talk about the backlash, you miss why people were angry in the first place. But if you only talk about the foul, you miss how ugly the reaction became after it. The real issue is bigger than one player. It is bigger than one suspension. It is bigger than one missed call. The real issue is whether the WNBA knows how to protect the biggest star it has. Caitlin Clark changed the league. She changed the ratings. She changed the attention. She changed ticket demand. She brought in people who were not watching before. And whether people like it or not, when Clark goes down, the whole league feels it. That does not mean she should get special treatment. It means the standard has to be clear. If a player takes dangerous contact, call it. If a foul crosses the line, handle it in real time. Do not wait until the internet explodes. Do not wait until fans slow the replay down. Do not wait until the damage is already done. That is the frustration Sophie Cunningham exposed. She did not just defend Caitlin Clark. She exposed the league's biggest problem. The WNBA keeps saying it wants more attention, but attention comes with pressure. It comes with scrutiny. It comes with fans watching every missed call, every replay, and every decision. And right now, fans do not trust that Clark is being protected properly. That is why Sophie's not sorry energy matters. She did not sound like someone walking her comments back. She sounded like someone who believed the league needed to hear it. She sounded like someone who believed Clark has taken enough. And now the question is simple. Was Sophie Cunningham right to go this hard after Alyssa Thomas? Did she finally say what everyone else was thinking? Or did she take an already heated situation and push it even further? Because one thing is clear. If Caitlin Clark keeps ending up on the floor and the league only reacts after the internet forces its hand, this debate is not going away. It is only going to get louder.